Hi guys, γεια σας και καλώς ήρθατε to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're making Horiatiko Psomi, that basically translates to Greek village-style bread. It's also known as yellow bread because of the semolina flour that gives it a little bit of a yellow color. It's so hearty, so delicious. Who doesn't love homemade bread? The house smells amazing while you're making it, and it's just so beautiful to look at, and it tastes better than anything that you'll get outside, that's for sure. It's homemade, made with love, and with really good ingredients, so you really can't beat that. It is pretty simple to make, like I said before. Let's get started. So I make this dough using my tabletop mixer because it just makes life so much easier. If you don't have one, you can do it by hand. You're just going to have to knead a little bit longer. So to the bowl of the tabletop mixer, I add 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. That's 375 milliliters. A quarter cup or 60 milliliters of lukewarm milk, along with 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. Then I add a tablespoon of honey to it, mix everything all together, and I let it sit in there for about 7-8 minutes so that way the yeast can get activated and you can know that it's alive and well. You'll know that because on the top of the liquid, it's going to form like a little cloud, and that's how you know that your yeast is good. If that doesn't happen, then you're going to have to start all over and get some fresh yeast. Hardly ever happens that yeast goes bad, but if it does, your dough is not going to rise and you're not going to have bread, so don't skip this step. In another bowl, you're going to combine 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you like. 3.5 cups is 500 grams of flour, and then you're going to add to it 1/2 cup or 87 grams of fine semolina flour. It's semolina that's been finely ground, and a teaspoon of salt. Whisk that all together and set it aside. Once the yeast is activated, then you're going to go ahead and add a quarter cup of olive oil, that's 60 milliliters, and then all of the flour ingredients in there, the flour, semolina, and salt. Put that in there, put the dough hook attachment onto the machine, and let it knead on low speed for about 10 minutes. If you're kneading it by hand, you're going to have to knead this for about 15 minutes. If you're using bread flour, 8 minutes is okay. All-purpose flour, about 10 minutes, so you can develop that gluten. That's using the machine, and you're just going to have to knead it longer. If you're doing this by hand, just get some help. Let your kids help you knead it, and you should be good to go. Grease your mixing bowl with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Toss the dough around in there and cover it with plastic wrap. Set it aside in the warmest part of your house and let it rise until it's doubled in volume. That's going to take about 1.5 to 2 hours or so. Lots of times this dough is left out overnight, so for about 12 hours. It really develops the flavor and kind of gives it a little bit of a sourdough flavor. I've done it many times and I love the taste of it. But most of the time I don't have time to do that, and I want to make the bread that same day, so I just give it 1.5 to 2 hours, and then it's ready to be formed. So you want to preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. If it cooks really, really hot, then lower it to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. That should be good. Get a baking tray ready with a sheet of parchment paper. And then once your dough is ready, just go ahead and we're going to form it into a ball. So I just like to take it and make it into a round shape, gathering all of the edges together, all to kind of get it nice and round. And then I just roll it on my counter on this big cutting board. If it would stay still, it would be good. Just like that. And you're just going to want to take it and put it on your prepared baking pan. Cover it loosely with some plastic wrap. This is going to keep it from forming a skin on top. And then set it aside again in a warm spot for about 30-35 minutes, or until it puffs up a little bit. All right, so the dough has risen a little bit. I'm just going to brush it all around with water. This is going to help it get nice and golden all around, and it's also going to help get a nice crusty exterior, just kind of like the ones you get from the bakery. And then I just like to make some slits on the top. It makes a pretty design. Now, if you want to, you can sprinkle some sesame seeds on top. So my oven is already preheated to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to bake on the center rack for 30 minutes or until it's beautifully golden all around. Then you want to take it out of the oven and let it sit at room temperature for at least 15-20 minutes so all the steam in there can settle. If you were to slice it once it comes out of the oven, it's going to be doughy and it's going to taste uncooked. So just wait a little while. You waited this long, you might as well wait 15-20 minutes longer. I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it's ready. So the bread is ready. It's cooled down, but it's still warm. And let's cut into it so that way you see just how nice and crunchy and toasted it should be. I'm gonna cut this into thin slices because lately I've been making some spanakopita grilled cheese sandwiches, and that's a recipe that you should definitely look out for. I'm gonna post this next right after this one. They are so good. Everyone in the house loves them. My kids say that it tastes like spanakopita pizza. They're just amazing. So, and this bread just makes it even better. But just look at how soft it is on the inside. It's perfectly toasted on the outside. It looks like it came out of a bakery, you guys. So simple to make. I'm just gonna take a little piece of this big slice. Delicious. I'm gonna get some olive oil for dipping and finish this piece, or maybe some butter. It's up to me. I'll have maybe some feta cheese with it. I don't know. I'm gonna make a little board for my bread. Olives, feta cheese, a little bit of butter for variety, and some olive oil for dipping, maybe some balsamic vinegar. This bread is amazing. If you guys make this for your family, they're gonna love you even more. I mean, who doesn't love homemade bread? The house is gonna smell amazing. It tastes amazing. It's just perfect. I hope you guys give it a try. If you do, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. The exact measurements, as always, are on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, yes.